and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Hello and welcome to Millennium News TV 24/7 Daily Global English News Update. My name is Todd Goldfinger, and here are today's top headlines. Thank you for being with us. News story number 1. From a White House podium in May, U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas outlined new legal pathways to the United States for Venezuelans and others, along with a very clear message for those who come to the U.S. illegally. In quotes, "Our borders are not open. People who cross our border unlawfully and without a legal basis to remain will be promptly processed and removed," he said. On Wednesday, Mayorkas announced temporary legal status for an estimated 472,000 Venezuelans who had arrived in the country as of July 31st, including some who ignored his stern warnings and came illegally. Circumstances change, but the Biden administration's sharp expansion of temporary protected status may complicate its messaging. Next news. News story number 2. The landmark Washington National Cathedral unveiled new stained glass windows Saturday with a theme of racial justice, filling the space that had once held 4 windows honoring Confederate generals Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson. The new windows depict a march for justice by African Americans, descendants of the very people who would have remained in slavery after the Civil War if the side for which the officers fought had prevailed. The cathedral had removed the old windows after Confederate symbols featured prominently in recent racist violence. Next news. News story number 3. The federal government is heading toward a shutdown that will disrupt many services, squeeze workers, and royal politics as Republicans in the House, fueled by hard-right demands for deep cuts, force a confrontation over federal spending. While some government entities will be exempt, Social Security checks, for example, will still go out. Other functions will be severely curtailed. Federal agencies will stop all actions deemed non-essential, and millions of federal employees, including members of the military, won't receive paychecks. Next news. The mid-air collision that killed 2 racing pilots in Reno last weekend is confounding aviation experts. The first and second place winning pilots, both Californians, crashed Sunday at the National Air Race Championship, possibly because of an aircraft blind spot, glare from the sun, or even a brief moment of lost focus, experts said. But many are dumbfounded by the fact that such experienced pilots who'd raced their T-6 Warbirds at the same site so many times couldn't navigate trouble just seconds away from safely returning to the tarmac at Reno Stead Airport. Next news. As a state representative running a long-shot campaign for South Carolina governor, Nikki Haley would often explain her opposition to abortion with a story about her family. In quotes, "I'm strongly pro-life, very pro-life, and not because my party tells me to be. but my husband was adopted, and so every day I know the blessings of having him there. End quotes, she said in 2010. She won that race and was reelected as governor before serving as former President Donald Trump's United Nations ambassador. She's now competing against Trump as the only woman seeking the Republican presidential nomination. And in a primary race animated by questions over the future of abortion access in the U.S., Haley is reviving the personal anecdote she would give in South Carolina, almost verbatim. We're going to take a short break from the daily global English news of Millennium News TV 24/7. Please stay with us. Thank you.
Welcome to the world of Millennium News 24. We bring news, we analyze news, and we make a bridge between you and the eventful world. 24/7 Millennium News 24 team is at your service. Don't miss Todd Goldfinger's show, Goldfinger Music Hour, Noon News with host Todd Goldfinger. Millennium News 24 is available to be watched free for all LED TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV, and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia, available with the Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network, and Horizon Satellite globally. Millennium TV 24 News you need to know.
Hello, and welcome back to Millennium News TV 24/7 Daily Global News Update in English. My name is Todd Goldfinger, and here's a continuation of today's top stories. Thank you for being with us. A federal judge has ruled that a university in the Texas Panhandle did not violate the constitutional right to free speech when the school's president canceled a drag show earlier this year. The ruling, handed down by U.S. District Judge Matthew Kacsmaryk on Thursday, stands out among a string of high-profile legal battles over drag shows across the U.S. Notably, shows bans in Florida, Montana, and Tennessee, and a separate federal judge in Texas blocked the ban from being implemented. Yet, in his decision, Kacsmaryk argued that drag shows are sexualized content and therefore can be more regulated than other forms of free speech. Next news. A Northern Virginia mother who sedated her two daughters with melatonin-laced gummy bears before fatally shooting them was sentenced Friday to 78 years in prison. Veronica Youngblood, 38, was arrested in August 2018 after shooting daughters Sharon Castro, 15, and Brooklyn Youngblood, 5, in their apartment in McLean. Castro survived long enough to call 911 and tell a dispatcher she had been shot by her mother. Jurors heard a recording of that call during a 2-week trial that was so traumatic that jurors inquired about whether they could receive trauma therapy. Youngblood told detectives that she planned to kill them and herself following a protracted custody dispute. Ron Youngblood, her ex-husband, told the Associated Press after the hearing that he had wanted to move to Missouri with both daughters, but had reluctantly agreed to take only Brooklyn after his ex-wife objected. Next news. Pope Francis challenged French President Emmanuel Macron and other European leaders to open their ports to people fleeing hardship and poverty, insisting Saturday that the continent isn't facing a migration emergency, but rather a long-term reality that governments must deal with humanely. For a second straight day in the French port city of Marseille, Francis took aim at European countries that have used alarmist propaganda, in quotes, to justify closing their doors to migrants, and tried to shame them into responding with charity instead. He called for migrants to have legal pathways to citizenship and for the Mediterranean Sea that so many cross to reach Europe to be a beacon of hope, not a graveyard of desperation. Next news. In late 2020, Senator Bob Menendez met with Philip Selinger, a private practice lawyer and former fundraiser for the senator, to assess his potential fit as the next U.S. Attorney for the state of New Jersey, and to discuss one case in particular. If appointed, Selinger would assume control of one of the largest prosecutor's offices in the country, a post that comes with the power to bust mob bosses and go after corrupt public officials. But Menendez, federal prosecutors say, was fixated on a less consequential matter, ensuring the future prosecutor would act sympathetically toward a friend of his facing bank fraud charges, real estate developer Fred Dabes. Next news. For Lachlan Murdoch, this moment has been a long time coming, assuming, of course, that his moment has actually arrived. On Thursday, his father, Rupert Murdoch, announced that in November he'll step down as the head of his two media companies. News Corp and Fox Corp. Lachlan will become the chair of News Corp while remaining chief executive and chair at Fox Corp, the parent of Fox News Channel. Excuse me. The changes make Rupert's eldest son the undisputed leader of the media empire his father built over decades. There's no real sign that his siblings and former rivals, James and Elizabeth, contested him for the top job. James, in particular, has distanced himself from the company and his father's politics for several years. But Rupert, now 92, has long had a penchant for building up his oldest children only to later undermine them, and sometimes to set them against one another, often flipping the table without notice. This has been the Daily Global English News Update of Millennium News TV 24/7. Thank you for watching. My name is Todd Goldfinger. Please log in to get the latest news on all of our social networking sites. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. On TikTok, we are Millennium News 24. Also, our YouTube channel is News Channel M24. Viewers, now on both network broadcasting, Android and iOS devices, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, also all smart TV platforms. Please enjoy our entertainment, our latest news, views, and editorials, our Millennium TV apps, Millennium TV USA Android, Millennium News Google, www.millenniumtv24.com. Please stay with Millennium News 24/7. Thank you, and God bless you wherever you are. Peace.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.